because it's basically a. I realize what McRaven has just done and what he has been doing. And you might say, well, why would I sit there worry about McRaven? Well, it's the same shit I was dealing with when I was in the Navy, both in Damneck and in Iceland. When you're when the people who are around you are attacking you, and then saying, and then it's almost like it's the bully sits there, hits the kid, and the long arms is like, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? And then, oh, why aren't you doing this? And also the same situation that one in when I was at Vipassana. It's energy. It's a soul theft. You're doing your thing, and then they're harassing you, and then you go try to say, hey, this person's harassing me, and then they believe the harasser. And and it's par for the course for cluster Bs, especially for the far end where you have narcissism, NPD, and psychopathy, and how they are very good at making their bad behavior look like it's your behavior. So what I the other day, yesterday, the day before, I don't know, fuck, I don't keep track of this shit. I stated something about McRaven, and and apparently what he did is he did this in two split positions. Both there's the battle that I'm dealing with them with both McRaven and Kennedy now as Abeloth, as she had stated that, oh, I'm going to one day be joining them. The only time I'm going to be joining you, Kennedy, is if I'm on the board of Disney to get your ass fired. You created all of this racism with Star Wars and projected your BS. Then you used, uh, then you used and are still using hermaphrodite trans persons, which there's a difference between an androgynous and an hermaphrodite, to create a schism, a psychological schism in America. And you're using all, and then you see, and it's, I'm not supposed to get angry. Fuck that, I'm angry. Because you are, what she does is they try to, cluster B is what they do, and Kennedy is from her older pictures with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, she's been an NPD at Cluster B for lots of Duper's delight smiling. I can say that there's lots of Duper's delight smiling. So there's a hypothesis that the NPD, but with the behaviors of George Lucas and her behaviors, my hypothesis probably would fall into reality in an objective sense. Subjective to most people, subjective sense, because right now this is also a psychic battle. Abeloth is her. She is Abeloth. She's using. When I was doing the music and you were saying I was running, why was I was had to go for a run? I was getting hammered by both Miss Lewis and her at the same time, and that was just an extreme psychic shock. But I've been able to figure out how to shield myself from that, sort of, to a point, because she's still, because I'll get to the part where, which is called, where they go, where they, where they get people, they get the outside world to associations, to create forced associations, which is their main thing. So that's how they disassociate a person from themselves. Now, the whole last year, she was trying to disassociate me from me, and it didn't work because I'm me. There isn't really any separation of me from me. That's what she did to Bruce. That's what she did to. That's what's basically going on in Hollywood in general. There's so much disassociated persons walking around, and it's done on purpose. And I've been thinking about the last couple of days of how it's done on purpose. So, back to what I was talking about with McRaven is I was over at the gym. He's every time I do something, he is inserted himself. This is the exact same thing that happened both in Iceland and in Damneck in the Navy. You know, we are our associations, and so every association I've had, he's inserted himself, and then trying to make it like right now with Trade Pro, he still has himself inserted in that association. Ron LeGrand, he has inserted himself in that association. He has destroyed friendships. I do not and will never ever trust Robin Hatfield and or her wife. Just the way it is. Period. He inserted himself into associations, and that's is what they do. And then they make, and then she's gonna go, oh well, no, no. When you were there, I could feel the anger well up in me. If she was right in front of me right now, I'd probably lose it and just knock the shit out of her. That's just you put my life in danger and then think you can laugh about it. That was the same shit, you know. And that's the same thing that happened in the South. This is why they needed segregation, because this is what they do. They project all of their bullshit, all of their negative crap outwards onto a certain out group, and then say on the in group, "Oh, look, we're just these great people." Same thing with Mansion, with the reason when we were trying to negotiate the Build Back Better. Hey, we'll pay for the coal to keep going, to switch over to hydrogen. The main reason of staying with hydrogen, as opposed to just going to windmills and all this other crap, is exactly because of these all this sunk cost. But he could not. His bigotry and his racism couldn't negotiate. He split it on purpose to hurt African Americans and his own people, to keep them working. But and here's the thing: they get the patchouli crowd gets the extra senators in. It's going to windmills, and we're going to kill coal because he would not negotiate, and he deserves to get kicked in the nuts because he was being such an intransigent jackass. Because we would have paid for him, paid for West Virginia to get ahead to make us better, make us hydrogen, paid for us to figure out how to paid West Virginia to do the research to grow and still use coal and still use the same infrastructure while improving the lives. And you notice the things he killed was anything that made people educated, anything that gave people the opportunity to really actually lift themselves up by the bootstraps. So, they can go suck on it. So what happened is I'm sitting there at the gym. This is McRaven. What the reason I placed that thing about McRaven is I'm at the gym, I'm doing my thing, and I don't always have my brain. I prefer to have my privacy. I tend to forget that every fucking thing I do, my rights to publicity have been violated and are being violated. But I'm doing it because I see what has to be done, and I'm willing to do what has to be done to get a president in jail. And then McRaven's going to try to come in and say he's a little hero and blah blah blah, and then exit me to stage whatever, and then steal my rights to my publicity and my life. That's his goal. Every action he's done has shown that's what his goal is. So I'm going at the gym, and then there's two different things that are going on. First off, short term, recent was I was at the gym going in to get the hot tub. I'm still going back to the gym tomorrow. Is anytime I start to build myself, he tries to insert a negative emotion association, right? It's constant. It's this never-ending BS. And you motherfuckers, whoever has his leash, you need to pull his leash. Because if you want my help anymore, if you're going to kill me, you're going to kill me anyways, so fuck you. Pull his fucking leash. And now he's like, ooh, he finally got him angry. That's a dangerous thing for you, McRaven, not for me. I still have my psychic ability, and I have not reached into your mind yet. The so I'm at the in at the gym, sitting there just going into the hot tub, and there's these young underage girls. I didn't, but I'm not going to. I have no reason to change up my normal habits, and so I'm just sitting there, and I always look to see who's around me. Look around me. One little girl gets nervous. I'm like, 'cause I have to figure out who the fuck is this, and I'm just doing whatever I do. I always check out a person's top to bottom. So she comes, and she's young, and I realize, okay. I said, oh, sorry about that. And so I don't look over there anymore. McRaven has it now within this local area like I am some fucking pedophile. That's an Emmett Till situation. All right? That's it. So he's the moral thing. That's soul theft. So I have every right to be angry. And then he does it locally, but then he doesn't show it globally by the way everybody else's reaction is going. All right. Secondary thing is you have this fucking weirdo down here who's dressed it up like he's a fucking monk or whatever. Now, and the last time I was doing my, this is one thing I don't like about my privacy. My beliefs are my beliefs. You don't have any rights to be into my beliefs. Period. And so they have this little fucktard just prancing around and all this shit. What he's trying to do is get him, and Abeloth are trying to make this association of me being a monk. I'm no fucking monk. I'm an entrepreneur, and yeah, I'm a prince. Get over it. Because they have to constantly try to devalue. That's what they do to African Americans. It's how they know black African Americans, it's how they have value, what they think they is value. That's the reason they're flipping the fuck out. All these Caucasians are losing their damn minds. It's what Trump has been playing on. That's what McRaven's going to play on and say, like, look, look at all this mess. Well, I get them. I'll be the one who steps in and saves the day, and then makes a mess, and then re-enslaves black African Americans again, because they're trying to create the tone of a civil war, and we're pretty much halfway there. Steve Bannon and what's her fuck, Kellyanne Conjob is talking about, oh, if you indict Trump, you know what? Fuck that. The committee needs to call Trump and use the inherent powers of contempt to grab his ass by the hair and pull his ass and sit his ass in the chair in front of the committee before elections and remind him he works for the people and the people are Congress. He fancies himself to be a dictator. And Putin and MBS are keeping this crazy shit going, so there's so much unrest in America that America implodes on itself. They're using bigots, especially, and Trump knows this. When you looked at the emails that they were talking about, 25 emails a day, that's on the long tail. So they have gotten this 1.5%. They have just hammered their minds. Their amygdala is just inflamed. And he's going to keep doing it, and he's going to create more escalatory situations as we get closer to the midterms. He's daring the people to hold Trump to an account and talking about the globalist. Irony is, yes, I agree with Bannon. The globalists are trying to make this one world government, whatever. But Bannon's walking right into the fucking trap with his BS, thinking he's this master freaking manipulator when he has no idea of what he doesn't have an idea of. Are they trying to use me? Oh, of course they are. I totally know that. That's why they're all pissed, because I'm constantly we're mind fucking each other. This is a battle. This is a mind battle of epic proportions. And Kathleen Kennedy is trying to take, and the family are trying to take down the United States. It's quite sad that she uses George, and I get it as why George Lucas did, um, sold it to Disney. I couldn't imagine 30 years or how many was it? 80, yeah, 30 years of her constant BS and then hiding behind her Secret Service so nobody can actually fucking take her on and kick her in the fucking teeth. It was the same BS that fucking Hammett did. You sit there and you get in their face. They play their crap. You get in their face and they run back. Oh, he's being mean to me. Or you have like this little neo-Nazi over here who's so violent, hateful, violent. He's nothing more than a demon vessel. Fortunately, in all his hatred, he's not trained, so he doesn't know. He just rolls off of pure hate. You pull the leash on your boy, pull it back. And Abeloth, I am coming for you. And if you say, well, then why should I hold my leash? I assume all of you are as that leash. It's like with Confar. Bontrager taught him how to be a fucking bigot. And so he's lived his whole life on being the bigot, right? Trying to play the whole white thing. So he can't actually state the truth. And so he's willing to, so they get so far into that rabbit hole of, well, this is who I am. And it's like, ha ha, we fooled you, he ha ha. I've, all that soul energy that you've stolen, that these people over the years have stolen, I'm returning without their gunk back to me. And they'll find out, like John Farsis doesn't realize his life is now over. Not in a physical manner, but all the good that he's thought he's had is because he stole my soul energy. His life now stalls. At first it's going to look like it's going to take off, and it might for a wee bit. But everything that happens from here on through will twist. So this is the same thing. That's what we're talking about, where they're very good at associating, disassociating, and reassociating. Just like what they've done always do with black African Americans, associate the heterosexual black male with the gays and the feminine, when it's ironically they're more feminine. So they have to go stomping around about being masculine when they're really, because they know that they're actually extremely feminine. Psychopaths are hyper feminine. Narcissism is a hyper feminism. It is the demiurge. It is an unbalanced self with a stuck child. Psychopathy, about a year old max. Narcissism, probably about maximum about 5 to 6 years old. They have no self, so they have to steal other selves. So this is all I got to say for today. I got shit to do. Because their greatest fear is that my energy starts to flow. I'm at low energy state and they can't deal with me. They're terrified of me at my normal and higher energy states. And severe for debts. A lot of the $40 million aid that went to Ukraine was also to offset the humanitarian crisis in Europe. A good majority of it actually is. Right now, Gerasimov is using, he should, yeah, he got lucky. Unfortunately, lucky or unlucky, I don't know what happened. We didn't get him when he was in in country, but he's also he's switched to economy of force with a pinning action up on Kherson, and the rest of it as holding actions on the rest of the Donbass, Luhansk. Make no mistake, Putin has not changed his what he wants, which is the complete destruction of Ukraine, all the way up to Transnistria, then in Moldova. He's not going to stop unless he is stopped in Ukraine. And then MBS with their, the Saudis with their Yemeni with the proxy war with Iran in Yemen isn't making things better. We're gonna have and now we're having drought on the eastern of Africa, and with that drought, failed crops, rice crops, and even the cassava, because they'll last a bit longer, stuff like that. Cassavas, but more tuber type plants because they don't usually use what we call the shale crops as much. So this world's things are about to get crazy. Walmart is selling dehydrated food here, so I know that is all computerized. It sees the ML, the machine learning, the algos are seeing something, and Trump's trying. He's going to try. This has been Bannon's dream. It's what he's been wanking himself off on, trying to get a civil war going. And the irony is, the country or what that he thinks that it'll create won't be what he thinks it will be at the end. So my next door neighbor was pissed. Not my circus, not my monkey. So know this: McRaven is attacking me. He's been attacking me from day one to cover his ass for what he did when I was in. First off, and then second off is just because he's a straight up bigot by his actions, because the actions that he has done only bigots would usually do. So I stated from that. And under most circumstances, he would be able to say, well, if you get bit, I'm not most people, so therefore it's really kind of annoying. But it is new that he is doing that he's doing, even though he's done this before, he's now trying to make adaptations, but he still has to do, he, it is by his nature, by that they have to try to steal my soul energy so he can make himself look good. But the thing is, when you know how to see it, you see it for what it is. There are a group of people whose goal has been for the last 50 years to destroy the constitutional order of the United States of America and turn America into a theocratic fascist state. And Trump was the crowning achievement. And they're willing to destroy this country to do so. Not realizing the whole new world order they're babbling about, they'll end up bringing about if they do so, which is they're walking right into the trap. China and Russia are playing Americans' bigotry and racism against itself. And these far right nut jobs are falling for it.